So Brighton and Leeds played out a 0-0 draw at the Amex Stadium in a contest which saw the hosts dominate possession. Between them, they had 31 shots on goal, but only 8 were on target. Brighton will be especially disappointed, considering they had 20 efforts in all. Let's get some post-match reaction. Here is Brighton's Tariq Lamptey.
Tariq, just describe to us how frustrating that is to walk away from a game where you created so much but didn't manage to put the ball in the back of the net.
Yeah, we would have liked to win the game, but we're playing against a quality side. We created some good opportunities, but just have to keep. We tried to push and push and push, but the goal didn't come today. But on another day, would have came. So we all bought into it.
Could you believe it when you were watching some of those opportunities where the ball was just going everywhere apart from in?
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. We tried our hardest and we gave it our all. And on another day it goes in, so we just have to keep trying and go back to training ground and keep working.
Tell us about how you're feeling at the moment, because to manage to come back into the side and hit the ground running like you are must be such a boost for yourself but also for your teammates.
Yeah, they've been great with me while I've been out, so I just try to come in and make sure I help the team as much as I can and work as hard as possible to get a good result for them.
And you did do that today. You did try your hardest, because actually you created 5 chances, which is a career high for you.
Thank you. Yeah, just tried to do my bit and help the team. Unlucky that we didn't get the win today, but on another day we get it. What
more do you need to do to start putting these chances away? All being given, it's not necessarily falling to your feet, and it's a question that I could ask any other player in your team, but how difficult has it been to get over the line?
We're playing against quality teams every week, and it's not easy to put the ball in the back of the net. We all have to create chances, and like I said, on another day we take them chances and we score. Just today it was unlucky. We tried the hardest and we have to just keep pushing. When you look back at this game and you watch it back and you see everything that was created, do you feel like it was a chance missed to get those 3 points? We go into every game looking to get the 3 points, but we play against quality sides every week. We worked as hard as we could. We just tried to push and push, but the goal didn't come. But we just look forward to the next game now. All right, well done, Tariq. Thank you. Thank you.
It was only his 3rd start of this season, and that was after a lengthy spell on the sidelines. He was one of the bright spots, really, on a frustrating night for Brighton.
Yeah, I think he was probably being a bit diplomatic there with his answers in terms of coming up against a good Leeds team that his points dropped. We know that. They can play better. Same story, same game. Dominate possession, create chances, don't take them. Yeah. I think they've got to go in there and really start nailing a few, be a bit more critical of their front line.
I suppose the one damning thing we could say after that game was it was predictable to how we saw it panning out. And I think both managers will not want to hear that, will they?
No, absolutely. I think Graham Potter's no fool. You know, he knows he's missing a centre forward. You know, I think the head of recruitment there will be out looking for a centre forward. But like I said before the show, everyone's looking for the same players. You know, you need to find a way to score goals throughout the rest of your team, because, you know, if that number 9 does come available, you've almost got to take one out of the Championship if you're a Brighton side, you know, and take a risk on him, you know, and see if he can actually produce the goals in the Premier League, because they do so much right and they do create a lot of chances. You know, thinking, you know, they create more chances than Tottenham do at the moment. You know, if Harry Kane was playing for them, which is never going to happen, he would have scored 3 goals there tonight, you know. But that's a credit for them, that they are creating the chances. They have kept a clean sheet tonight, but without doubt, that's 3 points dropped tonight. But for both sides, because I thought Leeds had their opportunities as well. And if it was Leeds of last year, they would have opened up Brighton. I think Brighton have overachieved in their league position this year. I thought last year they were in a position where they should have done better, and then they never got the rub of the green. I think they've got a little bit lucky this year, and that's why they're in that position high up in the league. But I still think there's room for improvement. I think the manager's very, very good, knows exactly what he's doing. He's got a good philosophy of how he wants his teams to play, gives them confidence to get on the football and control the game. But they lack quality in offensive areas, for sure.
Did that first chance on Neil Maupay sum things up as far as Brighton were concerned?
Yeah, of course. I mean, he's been left out, hasn't he? He's first starting in a few games, and it showed he was a little bit rusty. He still gets in them positions. You can see him just waiting for the ball to come. He plants his right foot down, gets him all set, and just gets it all wrong with the contact. Like you can see there, plants his right foot down, and where his left foot is facing, it's only going to go in one direction. That's over the bar. He's not got over the ball. He's not punching it down in the ground where you're a confident striker. And he turns away straight away, knowing it's a massive chance.
Yeah, There's no conviction there, is there?
No, he looked like he lacked confidence even before it come to him. He almost expected to miss it because he's turned away in disgust even before the action's over. So there was no confidence, there was no conviction. I'm surprised he went with his left foot. He's a right-footed player. I thought he would have just buried that, got his head over it, but he's leaning back. It's a real poor miss, and that's certainly a miss what's going to keep him awake tonight.
But in his defence, and Steve, you've already said it, he's been in and out of the side. That's his first start in 4 games. So,
he will continue to be in and out.
Yeah, the thing is with that literally sums up. An informed striker will know exactly their body shape, know what they're doing 2 seconds before it comes. He's making his mind up as it's literally hitting his foot, and then that shows. You could show that replay in slow motion, and you could see it all the writing written on the wall.
Yeah. But in his defence, Neil Maupay wasn't the first one guilty to spurn chances. I mean, there were a fair few in the end. Yeah. And these are scenes essentially reminiscent of last season.
Yeah, 100%. Look, we can say it all day long. They're going to create chances. It's just about what can you put in the box that's going to put them away. And these are all sort of good chances. They're not sort of half chances. That you should be at least working the goalkeeper. This one here is a great save from Melier. He does get a fingertip onto it. We see in the replay later on that he turns away with a smirk and a grin, but a great save. But Trossard's always the one that's going to make things happen, as is Lamptey. You just want these firing. Your Maupays, your Solly Marches, your Pascal Gross, who wasn't really involved today. Modo's going to get on the ball there. You need them firing in the box.
Tim?
I just think with Maupay, you can't only score goals when you're playing well. He seems to have confidence running through his veins all of the time. Good strikers don't do that. Sometimes they can not touch the football and all of a sudden they get a chance and they will bury it, instinctively. I think he wants to get involved in the game too much. I think if he stays at the width of the goalpost, I think he scores more goals. But I agree with Sidders. I think that Trossard is the jewel in the crown for them. I think Basuma's a good player, but going forward, I think Trossard can open up doors.
Yeah, I don't know as well. There's a little bit of a voodoo with home form. They're not losing games at home. They're creating chances, but they're not scoring. And I know where there's a few moans and groans with the crowd now because they're seeing good football, getting on their feet, being entertained, but they're not seeing that conviction. Whereas away from home, they're going all out. They're scoring. They're getting.
Can you see a difference?
You can. Away from home, when they went to Liverpool, for instance, it was an exciting game plan because they dropped deep at Anfield to get Liverpool to come on to them, so they can go in behind. So you know what they're going to do. So there's spaces to exploit. Whereas at home, they find it a little bit more difficult against teams that are just dropping a bit deeper than them.
This is common. We've played with players who are like this, and in the end, the manager cottons onto it. He twigs it and he sees him and he'll start leaving him out at home and playing him away from home. And then hopefully he can score enough goals away from home to give him the confidence then to come back in front of that crowd who are on the up because they've seen him perform and score goals, and then the confidence will see him through. But at the moment, he looks like he's void of any sort of confidence.
OK, we'll talk more about Brighton in a second. Let's get some reaction from the Leeds United dressing room. Here's Adam Forshaw.
Adam, first of all, to walk away with a point from that game, how are you feeling?
It wasn't our best game, but if you break it down, I think it's a clean sheet away from home. Another point on the board going into Tuesday, so there's definitely positives, yeah.
When you do break it down, where do you feel that you were coming up short today?
I think, especially second half, we probably went long a bit more than we do as a team. Maybe just wanting to get a result, I think, so we may be a little bit safe at times, all of us. But like I said, I think, points on the board, and sometimes you're not going to play well every week. We played well against Tottenham and didn't get anything from the game, so we'll take it.
That first half performance against Tottenham was really pleasing for your manager. You even said so before this game. Why was there such a difference this week to that?
I'm not too sure. I think when you're in the game, it's hard to analyse. Teams obviously will try and work out how to play against us, so you're going to come up against difficult situations and formations. So, but like I said, we stayed in the game. You're not always going to play well, and yeah.
There was a moment in the second half towards the end where Tyler Roberts looked like he was close to scoring. How did you feel at that point?
Yeah, it was a massive opportunity. Tyler's done really well. He's broke the line and got in. I think the keeper's made a great save. It just wasn't to be.
You're obviously hit with a number of injuries so far this season that are making you struggle in what we know from Leeds last season in the Premier League. With your players coming back in, is it just going to take some time for them to bed in and for you to get back to the Leeds that we know?
Yeah, we've had long-term injuries, so they're not going to come in and just be firing on all cylinders. But lads are close now to being back fit. The likes of Pat, Cocky,
Luke Ayling, so we're not far away, and we know we've got the quality in the team to put a run of games together.
It has been a tough season so far. How is the spirit of everybody and the motivation?
Good. We train really hard, as everyone knows, and we believe in what we do and our ethos, and we'll keep going.
All right, thank you very much.
Thanks a lot.
Cheers.
Well, of course, for Marcelo Bielsa, he's looking for the right kind of combination, particularly up top, in the absence of Patrick Bamford. You turn to Tyler Roberts off the bench. It's something that he's done quite a lot this season. He had a flurry of chances, did he not?
He did have some good chances. He always comes on, always tries his best, he always tries to affect it. He's got good pace. This time he gets away. It's a very tight angle, but no one in the middle to cross to anyway. Goalkeeper makes a routine save. Brighton get caught, continue to play out. Forshaw finds him with a pass. This is a good save down to the left-hand side because he hits it very quick, Roberts. But he's always going to score. He's always going to score and create chances. He's always going to run around. But he needs a run of games. He needs the confidence to be able to go and play. That's a poor chance. That's a good chance, but a poor execution of a finish. So, it comes for the boy, but when's he going to get a run of games? I mean, Patrick Bamford's out injured now, and he still can't get in the side. So, he's not really going to be brimming with confidence to this.
No, and this is the one. This sums them up. Look at the space here. Rodrigo makes this run inside. Daniel's on the far side there. The space opening. It's just that vision. It's just been that final pass, that final trigger that they're just missing, Leeds. That it is wide open for him. Yeah. It's just the wrong decision at the right time, and that just sums up Leeds, not just today, but so far this season.
So let's delve a little bit deeper. They were so good to watch last season.
Yeah.
On their way to a 9th place finish, if I'm not mistaken. What has happened to them?
I agree exactly with what Tim said earlier on. I just feel like they're just burned out, and they're just not. It's easy to run around and be aggressive and close people down when you're seeing results, when you're seeing the fruitfulness week in, week out, and you're climbing the table. When you're not up that table, when you're going, we're doing the same as last year, and it's harder than what other teams are doing. Some players are just slowly coming off, putting the foot on the brake and putting the handbrake up. And Leeds, they can't play like that. There's only one way that they can play their philosophy, a Bielsa philosophy. If they don't, they're in trouble.
Yeah.
Have a look at this. This is where Leeds were at their pomp in their goal against Aston Villa. The movement, the pace, it was all there.
Yeah. It's the running off the ball, Manish.
Yeah.
If you just see the running, trying to get into the danger area, breaking their necks to get in there, passing the ball progressively forward all of the time. This was the Leeds we loved last year. There's an element of getting found out. Teams have found them out, but it's actual quality and decision-making and that final pass. I mean, there's a simple pass on here. This pass in there opens everyone up. You've got the overload on the right-hand side, 2v1. That isn't almost a goal, but you need to find the correct pass at the right time. And they're forcing it at the moment. It's just not got the quality to take a breath. They were playing 100 mile an hour, and last year they could adapt it, and they could play at that breakneck speed. This year, it looked like they're never slowing themselves down mentally.
Yeah.
They're playing at a high tempo, but they've slowed down physically, but they just cannot find the correct pass. That's the pass outright. Really, I wouldn't pass it here. I'd pass it out there. You see Rodrigo there in the middle. He needs to make runs for each other, unselfish runs. But Bielsa's working very, very hard. It's a limited group. I think they overachieved last year. I really do. Yeah. I think they have got quality, but they haven't got quality in abundance. They need to introduce more players to it to freshen up the dressing room mentally. This man is very, very intense and very demanding as a manager. And why shouldn't you be? He's been there 4 years now. It's a long time to listen to him every single day, demanding a physical output, what he asks. Your body gets tired. You mentally get tired. And I can see people saying, well, they get paid a lot of money. It's nothing to do with that. You've got to keep them sharp. You've got to keep them physically, tactically sharp. And at the moment, they look like they're on the wane.
Well, I tell you what, let's listen from the man himself. Here is Marcelo Bielsa.
Well, Marcelo, let's just speak, first of all, about what you thought of that performance.
Hablemos un poquito sobre lo que usted pensó sobre la actuación.
En el primer tiempo las diferencias fueron muy marcadas.
In the first half, the differences were clear.
Y en el segundo tiempo el partido fue parejo.
And in the second half, the game was even.
Con oportunidades para los dos equipos.
With opportunities for both teams.
Y nosotros mejoramos en todas las líneas.
And we improved in all our lines.
What do you put that improvement down to? Was it the changes that you made? Or did the spirit change?
¿De dónde vino ese cambio? ¿Que si fueron los cambios o fue un cambio de espíritu del equipo?
No fue una cuestión de individualidades.
It wasn't a question of individualities.
Se dieron algunas circunstancias.
Some circumstances came to happen.
Hubo no era, en el primer tiempo hubo muchas incoordinaciones.
In the first half there was a lot of there was a lack of coordination.
Y había mucho para corregir.
And there was a lot of things to correct.
Y cuando hay mucho para corregir, los cambios en el rendimiento, si se consigue mejorar, se nota.
And when there's a lot to change, if the performances change, then you notice it.
Pero de ningún modo me parece que esté ligado a los jugadores que salieron ni a los que entraron.
But in no way do I think it's linked to the players that came off and the players that came on.
Sino que en el primer tiempo no fuimos un equipo coordinado.
But it was just down to the fact that in the first half we wasn't a team that was coordinated.
Y en el segundo tiempo el funcionamiento colectivo mejoró.
And in the second half the function collectively improved.
Well, this is where Leeds are in the table then. After their first 13 games of the season, they've only managed 2 wins. Yes, they've drawn 6, but 5 defeats already means they're on 12 points, 3 points shy of the bottom 3, but Burnley have got that game in hand. They play on Sunday. Now, their only 2 wins this season have been against Norwich and Watford. Both of those sides have changed their manager. Is his position under any threat at all?
You've got to say it is, because the form says so. You know, where they are in the league. And when you start getting others around them that will pick up points, you look at Norwich, you look at Burnley, Watford, there's a start. But if they start getting into the bottom 3 and a gap appears, what's the time frame that the hierarchy make the decision? I think this is Bielsa's longest spell in terms of being at a club, nearly 4 years, like Tim's alluded to earlier. Is the tactics just now getting a little bit worn thin? Is there a few chinks in the armour between a few key players that are just sort of becoming a little bit, you know, stale?
I think sometimes the board, the directors, owners start listening to players in the dressing room. I think they might be asking a few questions to the senior players and saying why, you know, he's not a good communicator, Bielsa, is he? I think he's a wonderful manager, I really do. I think I've got a lot of time for him, the way he sets his team up. But perhaps time has come that they've started to listen too much to him, and he is very, very demanding. And he looks tired himself, and I think the players look very tired. Now, he brings off Calvin Phillips there today. There's no sign of an injury. Calvin Phillips is the mainstay of England's midfield. We know how good he is. We talked before about how they need him. Last week he come off against Tottenham. Off the field, they interviewed him afterwards and said, why did you play centre-back? He said, well, it's something you need to ask the manager. Now, he was almost being very critical without being too damning towards the manager. I think there's a rift there. I'm not suggesting between them two, but I think it's not all happy there. It's not a happy camp at the moment. But sometimes when you lose so many games, I've been in the position before, it's never happy. But the manager's not there to be anyone's friend. He's there to get the best out of the group. And at the moment, he's failing to do that. I'm not saying that we're a team full of superstars here who should be in the top half of the league.
Yeah.
Not by any means. But they should be better than what they are at the moment.
I'll just go on there from what you're saying about a team of superstars. They have had injuries this season to key players as well. And if you actually look at their squad, it's a squad that's
lacks depth.
You know, you look at that bench and thinking, well, no one's going to come on and set it alight. And when you start missing a few key players like your Bamford, Zaylings, Rafinha, where's your goals going to come from?
But that's interesting. He always tends to work with a small squad. He has 18 senior players, complemented then by those from the under-23s.
Yeah.
Injuries to 2-3 players, then perhaps that kind of plan tends to backfire. Have a look at the 7 fixtures he's got left. Of 2021, that's the first few, of course, in December, from the 5th of December, so after the Palace game. I mean, I suppose we're all waiting for Patrick Bamford to return to full fitness. There is no news as to when he's going to, you know, feature back in that starting 11. The sooner he comes back, surely with it will come a ray of light. But right now, we're not quite sure where they're heading.
Well, on the pattern, what we looked at, where you told us about the results, the 2 wins they've had so far, you would suggest that you've got to wait till Brentford before they win. But there's so much pressure on that Palace and Brentford game before they go into the likes of Chelsea, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. I mean, it's horrendous. It's horrendous. You know, one is finding himself in the bottom 3. You asked us there, Manish, is he under pressure? I think he is under pressure, but I think with this manager, he doesn't wait to get sacked. If he feels like he cannot take this group further forward, he will be saying to the hierarchy there, you don't pay me a penny, you don't owe me nothing. He signs a 1-year rolling contract. He only wants to get paid if he succeeds. That is what the man's all about. He will be saying to him, I'm finished with the group. You need to employ someone else. He'll be telling them that is the sort of man he is.
You go back to Bamford as well. We've seen with Mopé missing 4 games, coming in, a bit rusty. You're saying here now, but when Bamford comes in, you're expecting him to score goals. Yeah. Well, he's not a natural goal scorer. His main attribute is working hard. Harrying down defenders, setting the tone, setting the pace, and then when he gets in that confidence, then as a striker, then you start scoring goals. You're coming out of a cold spot after a number of months, and you're asking your main man, look, you need to pick us up and get us going. It's a tough ask.
All right, well, despite Brighton now going without a win in 8 Premier League games, they remain firmly in the top 10 in the Premier League. So how does Graham Potter reflect on tonight? Here he is now.
Well, Graham, just sum up how you felt that game went for you and the number of chances that you had. Can you believe that you didn't walk away with a goal?
Yeah, it's frustrating, but that can happen sometimes in football. But you just got to look at the overall performance of the players. It was fantastic. Played really well, great chances. We're brave because how Leeds defend, you have to use your spare man, which is often your centre-backs. I thought they did that well. Adam Webster stepping into the game did really well, so did Lewis Dunk. And, yeah, really, really happy with the way the team played.
How is it that you get to converting these brilliant chances into goals? How do you get there? It sounds a very simple question, doesn't it?
Yeah, it is. But that's the challenge. That's the challenge for us. But we created chances today, and I think if we maintain that performance level, we'll be fine. We'll score. It's just sometimes it doesn't go, and that's life.
5 of those chances came from Tariq Lamptey, which is a career high for him. How pleasing is it to see him just performing so brilliantly?
Yeah, he's done really well. Coming back into fitness, building him up slowly, but he's getting there, showing himself. It looked like he was enjoying his football, caused them problems. But I thought Leo Trossard on the other side was really, really good as well. So, yeah, it's lots of positives for us today.
Most chances created for you guys as well this season. At the end, the fans didn't sound too pleased. There were a few boos. What would you like to say to them?
Well, they're entitled to their opinion. I disagree with them completely.
And just explain a little bit more why.
Well, because you have to understand the game. You have to understand who we're playing against, how we played, what we did. I think we're sitting 8th in the Premier League, but maybe I need a bit of a history lesson at this football club.
Okay. And more from your team for the next performance in terms of what you'll say to them after this. What are you looking for?
I'd say the same again, to be honest. The same again. The same level of effort, the same level of personality, the same level of courage. Because, like I said, Leeds defending a 1v1 all over the pitch, apart from your 2 centre-backs. So they're the 3 guys. So it's not easy to play forward. It's not easy to get your guys free. But we did it. We did it well. We pushed. We created chances. We did everything but score. And then you have to take the clean sheet and the point.
Thank you, Graham.
Thank you.
Cheers.
That is interesting. Talking about the frustrations of the Brighton fans at full time, there were audible boos. Yeah. We spoke about it at the time, saying maybe he was just disappointed with the end result. He was actually shaking his head at the fans.
Yeah, he looks very disappointed there. And like I said, at home, there's a little bit of a voodoo that's coming now. The fans are expecting, they're being entertained, they're expecting more goals, more entertainment, more than what they're getting. It's right what they're saying. Listen, weren't too long ago, you was in the Championship. It's the first time you've been in the Premier League. We're building this year on, year out. We're playing good football. Although we're not just putting in the back of the net, look, you've got to appreciate what we're trying to do here.
You stood in the manager's shoes before. You no doubt have heard boos in your time. But what about that from Graham Potter? I mean that with all respect, by the way.
Listen,
you know what I mean? You heard everything.
He's given too much. I think that he's gotten promoted. It's a contrast to how Chris Hughton played. He's done a brilliant job at the football club. He's probably spoilt them, and now they want a lot more. He wants to give them more, but I think he's saying just calm down a little bit.
Just having a reality check maybe to the supporters. Okay, that's it in terms of today's Match Day Live. I think I might be getting booed off set by Tim Sherwood at this point. But Tim, thanks for your company. Thanks for taking it so well. Thanks to Steve as well. Join us for the 5 games on Sunday. From all of us, bye for now.